Good morning, and here we are. Let us see what we saw when we looked at ourselves this morning. What transpired this morning? When you looked in the mirror, who did you see? Did you see the person that you want to be? Did you see the person that you love to be? Who did you see this morning? When I looked in the mirror, I love what I saw. I was happy with every part of it. I was grateful to be here and to stand up and to look at the mirror and say, good morning, you specimen, you beautiful, amazing human being, created with a design in mind. Good morning. And that felt really good. And then the feeling and the strength of taking one foot, putting in front of the other, and getting from where I was to where I wanted to be was a miracle in itself. Sometimes we don't realize that, but every day we have little miracles. So I looked at it and I thought, what a beautiful day to ask everyone why having a routine is important. That is very difficult for some people to comprehend. And people ask that question quite a bit. What is your morning routine? So when I heard that question, what is your morning routine? I am thinking, well, what happens after 12 o'clock in the day? You're asking me about what my morning routine is. We're talking about our morning routine. I understand, listen, don't get me wrong. I understand how important it is to have the routine to start the day. I get it. What I want to get and what I want to think about is what happens afternoon, because they call it a morning routine. I couldn't get it, but I realized this is something I need to talk about. I need to teach. I need to enlighten about. I need to give a little bit of clarity about. Because when you have a morning routine, it's fabulous, yes. So do you crash and burn at noon? What do you do? Are you done? At noon, morning routine is over, so what do? Do you just go through life and float like a boat in the sea without a rudder? Nowhere to place your anchor? No destination in mind? Any wind is a good wind, like Seneca said. Seneca said, when you do not know what harbor you seek, any wind is a good wind. That is what that philosopher from those centuries ago said. When you do not know what harbor you seek, any wind is a good wind. So when you have what we call a morning routine, I want to know what happens after 12. I want to know what happens after 11:59 a.m. before it becomes p.m. The morning routine goes to sleep. So that's why I'm asking why having a morning routine is so important. Not a morning routine. Why having a routine is so important. Where are you going? Where did you set your sail for that 24 hours that you just stepped into when you woke up this morning and you forgot to feel the floor beneath your feet? You forgot to feel how magnificent and amazing you are. You forgot to think of and feel the energy of your loved ones around you. Those of you who have children, did you stand up and look at their sleeping heads and think, oh my goodness, I am part of this miracle? Did you? I remember doing it and standing there in awe and thinking, okay, I still do it. But that is not a routine. But that is something, if you have them, you can do in the morning, fine. So let us talk about that routine, that routine we need to have. We need to have a routine for the entire day. It might not be the same thing every day, but it has to be something that you plan to do today. I know, I'm talking from experience and observing others, of people, young people, who had no routine. And the first time I heard it, I was in court. Somebody robbed the bank, and I had to go to court. And it's not nice. Besides, it's just not nice. And there was this young 17-year-old, and he was the driver. And he said, to the judge or whoever. I myself, that was not a place I enjoyed going, but we had to go. I was at home, I was watching TV. My friend called me and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Watching TV." He said, "Can you come with me? I'm just going down the road for something." He said, I said, "Sure," because I wasn't doing anything. I had no plans for my day. I got into the car, and when he stopped the car. He said, "Sit in the driver's seat. I am just going in there to get something." Then he said he comes running out, dashing out, and tells me, "Drive." And this is why I'm here today. And that was the first thing I realized. He had no routine. He had no purpose for his day. Watching TV wasn't really anything that he put any emphasis in and say, "Well, I'm watching this show." Like my granddaughter tells me, "I'm watching show." That means quiet. And not even that. He couldn't say, "No, I cannot do this," because he fell into the wind that wasn't his wind. Seneca said it to us. But we are so busy being modern and amazing that we forget to look at those wonderful predecessors, the people that were before us. When you do not know what harbor you seek, he said, any wind is a good wind. Any wind you catch is a good wind, but it's not the wind you're looking for. You have to know what harbor you're looking for. You have to know your purpose. You have to know your routine for the day. What are your plans for today? Is it another hit and miss day? Is it another day when I'm up, I watch Tessa do the morning blessing, I talked to all my friends, and Terry came, and Yuko was here, and Loretta was here, and Tehran, and Carolina, and Paula, and everybody was here. And then what? What? Are you going to find a place to sit down and press that button and start looking at people behaving badly on television? Is that what it is? What is your plan? You need to take a plan. And you cannot make a plan without putting it on paper, writing it somewhere. Everybody writes everything in the devices, but it's not the same. It does not have this thing that comes from your heart to your hand, to the pencil, to the paper or the pen, whatever. There is an energy connection. Write your plans for today, as vague as they may seem. Do something. Even if you say, "I'm having breakfast, I'm going to have scrambled egg, I'm going to make an omelet." Like when I make an omelet, it has the whole house in it. Everything gets in that omelet. It's a meal in itself. Are you going to create that for you? What are you going to do? What do you plan for lunch? Do 3 things. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. What is it? And then in between, am I going to spend 15 minutes to connect with me? Write it down. Because a life without a routine is a life left to whatever the energy around you is going to propel you into. When your mind is empty, things come crawling in. Energies that are not positive, like the negative energy of a friend that is telling you, "Get up," or "You should do this, you should go do that, why don't you do this?" You mean, if I had to sit still, do you have any idea what I would be hearing and what I would be absorbing? When somebody says something to me and I say to them, "So that's what you're going to do," and that person replies and said to me, "Yes, that's what I'm going to do," and you will not understand it because it's way above your head. And I'm looking at it being a disaster in the making. Do I take it and run with it? No, I don't. I let it go. I drop it right there. Because you know why? I have a plan for those moments. I have a plan for those times. I cannot waste it on those things. So this is what we need to remember to do. Set your sails somewhere. Have a plan. When you get there, put your anchor down and survey where you have arrived. Because it cannot be a hit and miss. A hit and miss life will be like that young man. You know what happened to him? He could not go to 100 yards from one of the biggest banks in Canada. Once that happened, he couldn't go to any bank. And because there was no focus, there was no routine, there was no purpose for that person's day. So your routine shouldn't end at 12. The morning routine is fabulous. It sets you in gear. You're in first gear. Then you have to go in second. And when you take off, you know what happens after that. So the morning routine has to be there. But it shouldn't stop there and wonder, I did the morning routine, now what? What are you stepping up to? Somebody said to me, I love your routine, Tessa-Marie. I want to wake up at 5 like you do. But I wake up at 5 because I love the morning. I love getting up and finding I am alone in the backyard, on the porch, looking at the flowers, putting Wellingtons on so I can walk through the wet grass, hear the chime at the early, hear the birds and the hawk and all the different things, and see a deer. Yesterday there was a deer on our street. We live in the forest. And the morning was amazing to do that. So my morning is very important to me, but it takes me right through the day because I have something that I do. And when I do it, I write a minimum of 15 minutes a day. This is written down forever. When I get going, I will write for maybe an hour, but I have to have 15 minutes of writing. I read. I start reading for 15 minutes, but then I read for an hour or two. I go for a morning walk every day, right? I eat, I cook my meals myself. I set the table to eat. I refuse to eat watching TV. I have looked at the mouths of my friends and family that eat while they're watching the TV, and you can see they're not chewing, they're inhaling the food. And for that, I do not eat in front of the TV. I sit at the table by myself, and I entertain my mind into what I'm eating. I need to feel the saturation of it. I need to feel how the food is going through me. So this is what my routine is. It's not just stopping there. Then of course I have all the different things to do, and they're all numbered and they have their place. Then 7 o'clock I do the live. Then at 8:30 I'm getting ready to get organized. By 9:30 I'm in bed because I'm up at 5. So when this person said to me, I want to be up at 5 like you, can you wake me up? You know what I said? I have never woken my children up. Never, ever. When they were 5 and they were going to school, I went to Canadian Tire and bought them alarm clocks. They had an alarm clock. I showed them how to use it, and I said, when it's time, this is the time you need to get up for you to go to school. And I have never done it. I went to my cousin's house, and the roof of her kitchen had all the knobbies from the broom. She took her broom and she boom, boom, boom to wake up her daughters. I looked at it and I said, what is that? She said, oh, that's how I wake the girls up. I said, why are you waking them up? She said, well, they shouldn't be asleep. I said, why are you waking them up? What do they have to do for you? And she said, I just think they shouldn't be asleep. But I said, you're not giving them a reason to wake. How are you? So, of course, I just couldn't get it. So this is what I meant or mean when I say to you, I observe. Because that's where I learned it from. When I saw what she did to her roof of her kitchen, with these wrong things from the broom handle going up like this, I swore to myself, if these people think I'm going to give you life, feed you, clothe you, and I have to wake you up, when you can get an alarm and set it and wake up, well, I guess you're going to stay in bed forever. And my kids have never once asked me, Mom, could you wake me up? And they had, so that was how I lived this. But the routine, you must give people a reason. Train them for a routine. Give yourself a routine, but it doesn't stop at noon. Know what you're doing it the entire day. Know how you're doing it. That's why we spend all that time trying to make sure they go to bed at 7 or 8. But after that, do we forget the rest? Sometimes we do. So if you don't have a routine, after noon, after 12 p.m., what are you teaching these people, these little people that are so tiny, that demand so much out of you? What are you teaching them? What are you telling them? Are you going to explain to them what Seneca said? If you do not know what harbor you seek, any wind is a good wind. You have to know where you're going. You have to know this every day, all day long. All day long. You need to have a purpose. And that purpose needs to stay with you. It cannot leave you halfway. You cannot say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to drop this. Continue. The harder it gets, the more it is deserving to do. One of the little things that I do, and I have practiced it forever, especially when I was working and being a manager, when I had the most difficult thing I have to do each day, I do it first. The most difficult interaction, I get it over with because I realized it was clearing my mind to do better at what I love doing. And this is what I wanted to share with you this morning. Yes, I have a routine. I have a whole day routine. I do have what you call a morning routine, but I have a routine for the entire day. And it just serves me well. So my routine, like the young man that got himself in jail because he did not have a routine, my routine is not your routine. Each of us must create what is best for us. No one can tell you what you should or should not do. So the routine I have works for me. You can modify it and take parts of anybody's routine and make it yours, but make it yours. Choose, and when you see it's working for you, you need to also go back and rate yourself. Rate your routine and say, you know what, I've been doing this. How do I feel about it? Do I enjoy it? What am I getting from it? You question yourself and you will get an answer. So this is your morning blessing on this lovely Friday morning. And then, of course, I hope you enjoy this blessing because it's coming to you from experience gained, observation noted, and challenges overcome. So this was my morning blessing for you today. So sending you light and joy.